It is exactly 6 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side, and you have found the Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, where we give you an audio-visual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. My name is Uduak Daniel, and yes, we talk politics, we talk current affairs, because this is that segment of the morning rise that we call the Eagles Outlook. All right. That being said, remember that at the 7 o'clock hour, I had intimated us that we were looking to something that went down where a constitutional lawyer in Abuja here filed a suit, right, asking that the EFCC and the NSCDC be repealed. In other words, that they be declared void. In fact, one of the things that he said was that they were constitutional, and he cited a certain section from the Constitution. Now, the EFCC and the NSCDC and the Nigeria police, they play crucial roles in maintaining law and order in Nigeria. But their effectiveness and their accountability has been questioned by many Nigerians. I mean, there has been concerns about their independence, potential politicization, the duplication of efforts. All of these have sparked debates, and even their matters that concern their trustworthiness. There are also some key concerns that we must take into account. One of such would be the independence and accountability of these agencies, duplication of efforts, and of course transparency and accountability. There is also the need to understand the fact that there would be, if the EFCC and the NSCDCs, I beg your pardon, if their establishment is deemed unconstitutional, it could lead to a re-evaluation of their roles and responsibilities. It could also lead to a loss of trust in the security agencies and the government, potentially exacerbating security challenges. It could also, voiding the EFCC and the NSCDC Act could have significant implications for Nigeria's fight against corruption, potentially undermining efforts to hold individuals accountable for corrupt practices. Yeah? So should we now make a case? Would it suffice to say that we should rather tinker around the improvement of the EFCC and the NSCDC? Well, this conversation might be inconclusive if we do not exactly know the roles, right, that the EFCC, the NSCDC, the roles that they play individually as well as collectively. It is very important for us to put that into consideration. But I might also put it out there that we'll be having our guest, who's in the person of Barrister Ahmed Tanimu. Yeah, Barrister Ahmed Tanimu is a lawyer and a political conversationalist. He's going to be adding his voice in this discourse. Should we, because there has been some sort of distrust, some sort of lack of transparency, accountability within these agencies, the EFCC, the ICPC, and the likes, say that they should be disbanded? There could be quick implications that this would have. For those who are already employees of these agencies, or it could be, we don't know, there might just be a loss of job. You never know. Or there might also be, some sort of distortion when it comes to the livelihood and standard of living of, individuals as well, who are one way or the other, actively or passively, connected with these agencies. But then, shall we also continue in sin that grace may abound? That's from the scriptures. Shall we continue to turn the other way when, just so that we tell ourselves that we have institutions that are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that crimes, in whatever shape or form, tackled, and whereas they are failing, so to speak, or they have their offsides and their downsides, shall continue to baby them and say, oh, they're just little babies, they're still coming up, with time they'll get it rightly? Shall we also turn our eyes from the part that says that, hey, some of these agencies, based on who's at the top echelon of the administration, based on the administration, has been used, so to speak, to witch hunt certain politicians who do not align with the code of conduct or the body language of whoever is at the helms of affairs in the place of leadership of the country or leading that administration per time. I mean, which things happen and all of that. Yeah? So shall we act as though we don't know that they happen? Or is it about cases where there's been also mismanagement of funds that have been recovered one way or the other? I mean, if you say that the EFCC is a watchdog of a society, I've always asked this question: who watches the dog? Who ensures that this dog is indeed acting accordingly and not out of script? Acting in shape and not out of fashion? Whose job is it? Is it the National Assembly? Well, I mean, it's really deep though when we begin to think about this. But let's just jump into it really. What is the discourse really about, right? But before we do so, I told you I was going to give you what the EFCC, the ICPC, even the Nigerian police is all about. Now, what is the EFCC's focal point? They're focusing on economic and financial crimes, such as corruption, money laundering, advance fee fraud. Ultimately, another responsibility is that they have the power to investigate and prosecute cases related to financial crimes. Now let's get to the ICPC. For the ICPC now, their focus is on investigating and prosecuting corrupt practices and other related offenses in the public sector. Okay. Now, secondly, they're also all about having the power to investigate and prosecute cases related to corruption and abuse of office. Corruption and abuse of office. All right. For the police now, which I believe from the police all of these came from, the police has a broader mandate to maintain law and order, prevent and detect crimes, and protect citizens and their properties. In fact, the police may investigate and prosecute cases related to various types of crimes, including financial crimes. Well, while there may be some overlap between the agencies, it does seem as though each have a distinct role and area of focus. However, though, there have been concerns about duplication of efforts and potential conflicts between these agencies. So how can these agencies indeed work together effectively to combat crime and corruption in Nigeria while minimizing duplication of efforts and potential conflicts? We've always said it time after time and over time that, hey, we need to unify these agencies. There should be collaboration and corroboration between these agencies. There should be intel gathering and sharing amongst these agencies if we must indeed win the fight against any type of criminality in the country, right? So it does seem that only yesterday did Joshua Ijaodola, right? Ijaodola, a concerned constitutional Abuja lawyer, filed two separate suits before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Now, he's seeking to nullify the act establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. Now, if you recall that in recent years, there have been several controversies surrounding the EFCC's powers and its impact on Nigerians. So he's outrightly calling out the EFCC and the ICPC. And he's basing it on what the Nigeria Constitution has said. I mean, if you go to Section 214 of the 1999 Constitution, according to it, the Nigeria Police Force Nigeria. So he's challenging the constitutionality of the EFCC and the NSCC's establishment. He's arguing that they are powers of the Nigeria police. That's what he's saying. That they are taking over the power of the Nigeria police, and that is not right. That they are not actually acting within the frame of their mandate. Now, Section 214, the section establishes the Nigeria Police Force as the primary law enforcement agency in Nigeria. Ijaodola argues that the EFCC and the NSCDC's powers contravene this section, and then Section 6 of the EFCC Act. And then the section grants the EFCC powers to investigate and prosecute economic crimes, which some argue is unconstitutional. Section 4 of the Police Act 2022, this section also outlines the powers and responsibilities of the Nigeria Police Force. Well, we are already joined by our guest. Welcome aboard, Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar. Welcome aboard this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
It's a delight being on your program all the time.
Awesome. Well, Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar, you are a seasoned lawyer and a conversationalist, as well as a political observer as well. With what a constitutional lawyer in Abuja is saying, seeking that the EFCC and the NSCDC be void. He has filed a suit in that regard. In fact, he has quoted Section 214 of the 1999 Constitution, where it states clearly and categorically that the police force is the primary law enforcement agency in Nigeria. And then there are some sections that are relevant to this discourse. And I made mention of Section 6 of the EFCC Act, which grants the EFCC powers to investigate and prosecute economic crimes, which some argue is unconstitutional. Then there is Section 4 of the Police Act 2022. This section is outlining the powers and responsibilities of the Nigeria Police Force. And then if you look at Section 214, it's establishing the Nigeria Police Force as the primary law enforcement agency in Nigeria. Ijaodola argues that the EFCC and the NSCDC's powers contravene this section. In fact, there are arguments against the EFCC and the NSCDC. One of such is the usurpation of police powers. Ijaodola argues that the EFCC and the NSCDC have usurped the constitutional powers of the police, and that it has created duplicity. And then he also says that there is no constitutional mandate. Now, this is the part that really interests me, and I'm sure the family member, they want to also get some clarification on this. The EFCC and the NSCDC's establishment may not explicitly mention, they were not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution. And that's seemingly raising some questions about their legitimacy. What do you think about this, especially when you put it under the mirrors of transparency and accountability in the activities of the EFCC, especially the EFCC, and not also forgetting the fact that we've also had some successes recorded in terms of stolen funds and recovered monies by the EFCC, by the EFCC and all.
Okay. The premise I will start from is to lay a proper foundation.
Okay.
And in laying a proper foundation, we should all admit and agree that the Constitution is the ground norm. The Constitution cannot embody and encapsulate all the relevant laws of the country. It's good to have a written Constitution. In other climes, their Constitution is not even written. They just make law, have gamut of law that they've incorporated as their basis for existence. In our own case, we have a written Constitution. The written Constitution is clear. The power to make law is in the hands of the National Assembly.
Right.
To recall, the police has the primary responsibility of law enforcement. The word primary means that there are other law enforcement agencies that are related to enacted. They are expected to work in hand with the police. They are expected to complement the police without taking necessarily the power of the police. The FCC is established to fight financial crimes. The ICPC is established to fight corruption and bribery. It's even supposed to be an administrative organ that will regulate the activities of civil interaction, i.e., fighting crime, curtailing insecurity. So all these bodies are established by the provision of the law. You don't need to have all the laws mentioned in the Constitution. Some laws are given back as a result of foundation already laid in the Constitution. The foundation being that the National Assembly are empowered by law to make laws. So if they make law establishing anybody, any organ, to do whatever function, in as much is not in conflict with the clear provision of constitutional provision by virtue of section 1, sub 1, is like that law is valid. So they have rights to make laws, and they have made those laws, and those laws will come into operation. As regards the functionality of the laws, it's like attending the fact that for administrative convenience, there is a simplicity of function which will like take one organ to affect the activity of the other. That I believe personally, you have an EFCC, you don't need an ICPC, because basically they are performing the same function. In fact, if what we will call that the police and the fraud unit, that is the department that was FCC and ICPC and all other crime fighting agencies. But because they want special attention to be given to the economic, to the fight against financial crime, that is why we have specialized agencies that believe that they will have special training. But you see, in the era of cost maximization and reduction of costs, I think it is high time that all these agencies should be merged. We subscribe to the matter of ICPC, EFCC. In fact, it's even proper that they should be brought back under the police. Then this time around, they should have a kind of quasi-independent relationship. That is what has been lacking in the past, and it was that has been capitalized to now have this integration of various organs doing different functionalities. But as regards going to court to challenge the validity, I think at times we overspread our court litigation. There's no need for it. What is required is administrative approval. We decide to repeal the EFCC Enforcement Act, the NDSC Act, and all other relevant bodies. It is their prerogative. They can do it. Are they going to do it? I doubt much. Are the various agencies, are they recording multiple process? They are slow. The level of corruption, the same corruption that we are seeing in those agencies in the fighting corruption, they find in a number of plethora of cases. So until we sanitize our system, we are not bringing angels from the heaven to come and man those institutions, and we expect them that they are performing optimally. It's the same set of people that have caused the country a lot of shame, that are equally going to be recruited. When you have employment that is based on man, no man, you have employment that is based on influence, you have senators using EFCC employment as a yardstick for achievement for their constituents. Then you know we have problems. We are not really serious about the fight. You can ask anybody that must have ask any lawyer. We are writing a petition. We are not sure the outcome of the petition because any staff can be compromised, and they have been compromised in the past. Whereby you see an investigation, it will be attended to timely. The expectation at the end will be nothing to write home about, and they just really insulted into victimizing or concentrating on Yahoo boys. They do that equally too for selfish gain, not because they are interested in getting conviction or eradicating corruption. No, it's a quick win where they quickly get young boys that are jobless. They quickly confiscate some of their assets and they convert it to their personal use. They convert some of the proceeds of the crime to personal use, and they are encouraged to go and take and plead guilty so that they have high number of convictions. Take a close analysis. One of the convictions are for the Yahoo boys, petty crimes that has no bearing on the society. Whereas the big shot, the big fish, those are destroying this country. They are still in the helm of affairs. What is happening to our politicians? Even those that have been convicted and have been pardoned. So we are genuinely not interested in again. Interested in making Nigeria to work.
Yeah. So let me take it off. From there. So do you still feel that it should be a total reinvigoration or reevaluation of the EFCC and the ICPC and all, and do you also believe that Nigerians do have trust in the crime-fighting agencies that has been institutionalized to handle matters that concern, financial crimes and other corrupt-related offenses?
Okay, for the issue of trust, I can tell you for free, 90% of Nigerians don't have any answer of trust for all the security agencies. We perceive them to be as corrupt, as inefficient as the people we are writing petitions against. Personally, I've written series of petitions and I think I'm disappointed at the results that came out of it. Nothing, you discover that you are writing against a powerful individual, a powerful entity, and before you know it, the whole investigation process is bundled. We believe that for Nigeria to move forward, the entire foundation, there must be a reset button that must be set. You have to change all the people there. They should be posted out a new set of people that will be trained, new set of people with independent mind, new set of people with the highest professionalism. Let the activities be open. Let them have an open and transparent policy. When I say open and transparent policy, there is now a track device whereby the moment you write a petition, the details of the petition should be on a dashboard, efforts made should be reflected, results achieved should be reflected, and it should be for the public consumption. But because of investigation, normally they attach elements of secrecy. There are crimes that are not secret, they are open. And what happens to it? You see, if they are interested in it, because they are swept under the carpet. You see all the fanfare. In fact, it has gotten so bad that they will reduce the media trial and they normally sensationalize in the past to create the impression that they are working. Now they discover that it's no longer working. So it's just business as usual. We are not seeing any significant difference from what the police are doing, from what the EFCC people are doing, and from what the ICPC are doing. We believe that they could do better if the entire institutions are revamped, if they are employed, if employment is based on merit, if employment is based on competency, if employment is based on patriotism, you bring people that are known for having track record of honesty and respect to man sensitive institutions of this nature.
Okay, so you're not really about the scrapping or nullifying the act that institutionalized these agencies. You're talking about a possible merger where there is interdependency, if I understand you correctly.
Absolutely. No, right. Not to just say, the court is not. Sometimes some lawyers and some litigants confuse the role of the court. The role of the court is basically to interpret laws that have been made. There's nothing absolutely wrong with our constitution. What it needs from time to time is regular modification, regular amendments to reflect the yearnings and aspirations, the dynamic nature of the society. Things keep changing, the society keep evolving, so equally our laws need to be evolving. But it doesn't mean that because a law is not mentioned in the constitution, there's a blanket cover. The National Assembly are saddled with the responsibility of making law. Any law they make, by that implication, form part of the constitution. If all our laws, LFA, laws of the Federation of Nigeria, are to be reduced into the constitution, we will not be able to even operate the constitution because it will be too humongous. So how constitutional, written constitution, how they function is, you have the ground norm, you have the basics, you have the foundation. The foundation would delineate powers, responsibility, function to various organs, various agencies, various entities to do certain things. Anything that is done in the line with those powers conferred on the constitution, those things are recognized by law. They form part of the constitution, but they don't need to be mentioned. So the idea of that the police has been mentioned. The police are mentioned because if you look at it, before now the military were in power. Most of the laws and the decrees made by the military are now transferred into the constitution. Have a democracy. You don't expect every law to be mentioned in the constitution. For me, I will reiterate, we need to reinvigorate all our agencies. Look at look at INEC, for example. Nobody is saying anything. We are just waiting for elections. The only election is by the corner. We will start running skelter. We have a law commission, but over the years, they have not been functioning optimally. The law commission are supposed to be working on a team basis, looking at all relevant laws, receiving memoranda from individuals, corporate, on the functionality of government agency with a view of amend, making recommendations. If those recommendations are coalesced together, then the National Assembly can now reenact or can now pass in a new law reflecting the yearnings, the changes, the evolution that is going on. For in Nigeria, you will see people pass different cases and you wonder the rationale behind it. For me, I don't think going to court is the right approach, but the right approach is the National Assembly that have the right to make such law. You can use, if most people don't know, you can go to your House of Rep member, your senator, and tell them you want this particular act amended for this reason, or you can write to the National Assembly, you can write to the executive. Even the institution established, they know the challenges they are having. They can equally make law. Just recently, as you are aware, the FRS, by the signing of the new tax law by the president, you now have a new body. The new body has its own peculiarity, its own new function as the key institution to collect taxes. Their powers have been expanded. So other institutions will have their powers taken away from them by the operationality of the most recent law in place. That is how a functional democracy works.
All right. Okay, so let's just take a breather, go on recess. We'll be right back in a short bit, and when we do come back, we get to hear from family members, and then you also finally give your thoughts, on the discourse. You might also be considering the place of effectiveness and redundancy, and of course the place of selective investigation by these agencies, as quite a number of people have alleged that the EFCC and the ICPC and some of these other bodies, like the NSCDC and all, have been used by political bigwigs to witch hunt, or on a witch hunt rampage and all of that. But yeah, we'll come back, we'll have that conversation. And then there are agencies, just as you've mentioned, the law agency now, right? that seem to be redundant because we don't even know if they exist, and yet they're just existing there for nothing. More like they're covering space, and they're not doing anything, and yet taxpayers' monies are being sent to them for salaries and with nothing or little to show for. Well, we will look into that in a short bit. Right, yeah, let's go pay the bill. We'll be back.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Please listen to this announcement. Members of 51 regular course set of Nigerian Defense Academy marking their 25 years in service. Team 51 regular course at 25. Strengthening unity by rekindling camaraderie to safeguard the future. Special guest of honor, General C.G. Musa, Chief of Defense Staff. Major activities: launch of group life insurance policy for the course, honoring of our deceased course mates and our instructors from Nigerian Defense Academy, health awareness lectures and sports competitions. Date: Saturday, 5th April 2020.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Think Counseling Network, in collaboration with Reeds Empire Human Development Limited and partners, bring to you the Game Changer Conference, where entrepreneurs, leaders, and youth gather for one powerful purpose: discover how to shift your thinking, redefine your patterns, and elevate your influence. Whether you are employed, unemployed, leading policies, or building empires. Date: Tuesday, July 8, 2025. Venue: Novera Central Mall, Use Zone 5 Hall, Abuja. Time: 11 a.m. Seats are limited. Your next level depends on this decision. Don't mix it. For more information, call 080-3869-8516. 080-3869-8516. Game Changer Conference 2025. Change your pattern, change your life.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Before woman born, labor pain dey plenty, but after she don push born finish, she go happy well and even forget the pain. Na so e be with Nigeria o. Now, as Tinubu government dey take tough decisions to wear better dress of political and economic reforms put for Nigeria body for future benefit, many Nigerians dey feel am. But na so government too dey feel am, and that na why dem dey work hard every day to make life better for the masses. Look wella now, you sef go see say since 2 years of im administration, high prices of food don do U-turn, insecurity don jump fence, NEL fund don empower our students dem, plus other better ejeteram achievement. Na im be say our challenges don turn to opportunities. So, like that pregnant mama wey born pikin, abeg my people, make we just get patience small, because Nigeria don dey waka go meet im greatness. The future dey bright. We don dey waka go meet greatness. We no go give up. Lie. Na State House, Department of Media and Publicity power am.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Things dey happen for our community,
Now I can recoup back all the money I have spent on this annoying family.
Yeah, that woman own don't finish.
My dear, let's go and greet them, okay?
Hey! Join Media Coalition and Awareness to hold trafficking, MICAS, on I Wish I Knew radio drama and program every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Join us to kick human trafficking out of our society. I Wish I Knew radio drama and program is brought to you by MICAS and funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Can you say that you absolutely trust the EFCC, the NSCDC, as well as the ICPC in combating crimes, whatever the shade of crime it may be? Can you say that you can trust them so far? Have they been indeed competent? Have they been transparent enough? Have they shown integrity in the way and manner that they conduct themselves? Have they also shown non-partisanness when it comes to the operation and all? Can you say that we have indeed gotten to that point where we have agencies or institutions that are stronger than individuals in this country? Well, you join the conversation and let us know what you think about a lawyer in Abuja who has said that, hey, the EFCC, the ICPC, the NSCDC, please, all of you should go and rest. We don't need you because you're not living out, the trueness of your mandate. Let's go hear from you now. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Elder.
Good morning. Long time.
Yes. Elder, yeah, it's been a while, Elder.
Yeah, I traveled to come back.
Okay, welcome back, Elder.
How your family and the other people?
We're fine. The family too here is good. Thank you so much for asking, Elder. Elder, talk to us.
Yes. You see, even Nigerian men came from police. The first army recruit in this Nigeria, the whole of them are Nigeria police. And then the Department of DSS now, they call it E-Blank in Nigeria police. During Shegari carried them, changed them to NSO. From NSO before Babangida changed them to DSS. All of them, they are from police. EFCC is supposed to be a department of police. They are sleeping in Department of Police. That's why you see all the leadership from the EFCC there. They bring them from police. Above Stan Commissioner of Police. It's only this present chairman of the EFCC now. If not so, the whole of them, they came from police because they are Department of Police. But now they are walking away from police. And then this NSCDC. You see, all these things, the lawyer go to court, you only went to claim, you only went to set record. He's not going to win the case because government have many things to say. And then all of them, instead of them to assist police, they are claiming the security in police now. They have abandoned their own duty. And then the worst thing is something like the EFCC now. The work they are working now is just the work of a DSS. They only take a directive from somebody at head. Instead to follow the constitution. They only follow politicians. I said it last time. There's many corruption in Nigeria here. But EFCC can never investigate it. If according to EFCC, before they will investigate it, you have to write petition. And then the right petition, they will take it out. If they are to investigate, they will tell them to investigate. If they are not to investigate, they will tell them not to investigate. That's why they can't cope up with the law established them. If to say they are doing the real thing, the lawyer will not go to court. They are compromising police work. What the work when they are doing now is just an eye service. Let that department go. But the EFCC should be with police, not to go and establish the academy and bring all the sorts of people to come and train them. They are Department of Police directly. Okay. And then if they want to work out, let National Assembly take them out and then take the SS and then Nigeria Army and then Nigeria this thing out of police.
Okay.
Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Appreciate Elder Onaja right there giving his thoughts, saying that, look, all of these agencies, they all came from the police, from the Nigeria police force. But now it does seem as though they are rubbing shoulders with the Nigeria police force, and it's becoming a case of I'm your senior, I am better off than you, I do this better, and all of that. But yet, the place of political interference cannot be taken from these organizations having, their fingerprints on these organizations, dictating the tune as to how they operate and all that. Well, Barrister Ahmed, what do you think? I mean, Elder Onaja, who's a family member, a retired, officer, has told us that, look, all these agencies, to him, they should be a department under the Nigeria Police Force. I think agreeing to what you said earlier, what's your place on this as you give your final thoughts in the discourse?
My final thought is we should continue to be hopeful. We should pray that our leaders will be able to keep up with their, but things are really not going on well with the And for you to do it, you have to press the set button.
Sorry, Barrister, you sound far away from your phone. Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yes, now, yes.
So what I'm saying is that continue to pray for our leaders.
Okay.
And be able to take positive action to demand for accountability, to demand for performance, to demand for the reset button to be pressed. Things are really not working well. Corruption is pervasive. Everything is happening. And the only way we can get our act right is when we all come together, we look at the issue dispassionately, and we demand for accountability. Leaders will be able to live up to their responsibility. They will be able to perform the task. Corruption is one of the most important things that is the people in government. And how do they do this corruption? Contract over invoicing, diversion of public resources, and allowing competitive bidding in government, the award of government contracts.
Okay.
So every organ, the National Assembly, the police, the judiciary, we all have rights to demand for accountability, to demand for performance, to demand that the reset voting should be pressed so that things should be done properly.
All right. I appreciate that one from you, though. Barrister Ahmed Tanimo, you are a legal practitioner right here in ABJ, as well as a progressive voice in the discourse that concerns Nigeria. Thank you for taking out time to have this discourse with us today. We appreciate.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Yeah, more calls still coming, but I want to ask that you get onto the Facebook page wall and get onto the YouTube channel right there. Go in the comment section and leave your thoughts, and let's progress this conversation and take it to where it ought to be, so that the relevant agencies and authority will indeed get to hear it, and they probably get their act right, because we cannot continue going round in circles. I mean, accountability, transparency has always been the conversation every now and then when it comes to political issues and political matters and matters that identify with the Nigerian polity. But it doesn't seem as though anybody wants to take accountability. Nobody wants to be held accountable for anything. It's always, I said, it's in my father's job. It's not my father's job. Before me, somebody was there, and after me, somebody will be here. So I don't owe anybody any apologies, any need for explanation. I mean, you hear that a lot, you guys. You hear it a lot. People say that. But all of that has to change. If you don't owe anybody, at least you owe yourself the responsibility to stand as a person of integrity and do the right thing, if not for yourself, but for somebody who is right under you, or your subordinate, who's looking up to you as a model. We must always keep that behind our backs, right? All right. My name is Udwak Daniel. Thank you, far too kind. As I said, get to the social media platforms right there. Facebook is at Eagles FM Abuja. YouTube is at Eagles FM Abuja. Leave your comment on there, and the conversation will trend, and let's engage. All right. 10 o'clock, General Open Banter. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Hello, Nigeria. Hello, Africa. Do you work in the healthcare sector? Do you want a trained, certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, or caregiver? If yes, then register to enroll for Push Africa's one-year diploma in